Hey everybody, welcome back to another Simulacra Developer Diary video. My name's CJ. So this week I released the May milestone, and that means that there's a new build available on IndieDB, available on the downloads page as usual. And really what I wanted to do is to kind of start doing a kind of a playthrough video as I'm releasing a milestone so that people can get a nice kind of overview of the game as it stands. Um, Especially for anyone that doesn't have time to try to play the build. Um, and that way I can kind of dive in a little bit deeper with the developer diary videos and try to make them a little bit more pointed. And as always, the idea there is to try to be as economical with people's time as possible, and so everyone's getting all of the content that they want. So this milestone was kind of a grab bag, and I do apologize. I'm still getting used to playing and talking at the same time, so if I drift off, it's just because I'm concentrating. I haven't fallen asleep or anything. So this milestone was kind of a grab bag, with a lot of bug fixing, a lot of improvement to existing systems and work. And ooh, ah, sorry about that. Kept on getting knocked out of my hacking state. Okay. And so a lot of this area, a lot of the wilderness will look pretty familiar, but hopefully it plays a little bit better, is a little bit more improved, a little more nuanced. As you might be able to hear, I did knock the audio down quite a bit so that I could continue talking over it, as the mix in the game is not exactly where I want it to be, but I have added in quite a bit more sound effects, and also tuned the kind of the experience, by which I mean the audio listener has been repositioned, so it's on the character, so you can hear a lot more of the, like, you might be able to hear kind of the shield pulse, like machine sounds, or if you're standing next to the campfire, you can kind of hear the faint crackling. As you're walking down by the river, you can hear kind of the gurgling of the water, that kind of thing. And that was really, really difficult to tune before. Another thing is some changes to the design. I mentioned these in the developer diary videos, but now you can destroy any machines and they'll give you a sizable health pickup, by which I also reduced the health pickups that are dropped by the enemies, so that the encounters are a little bit more difficult now, and you kind of have to make some pointed choices at times of, if you're really low on health but you're getting energy from some of the pylons, you may have to destroy it in order to survive the encounter, and just trying to make sure that the player has as many interesting choices available to them at any given time that make the experience as interesting as possible. So as you can see, there's some minor improvements to things like foliage. The grass is a lot more kind of even and lush now, and that was from learning some shader specifics that I was missing that were causing them to look a lot more jagged. You can hear as I mentioned, a lot more of the sound effects actually support the player experience. So as you're jumping in and out of the hacking state, you've got sound effects to support that. Just generally trying to make the experience as smooth as possible. Some more art updates, these kind of shelters have been updated quite a bit. Sorry, I keep on getting that branch in the way. And you'll also see some of the hanging drying cloth that's around. Oh, these guys. These are procedurally placed, so sometimes they pop in as the cloth, and sometimes not. Things like that. Oh, I forgot that there is a dweller hiding here. Rescue that guy. So I'm gonna head back to base. One of the other things that's been added is the compass. So if you click the right thumbstick, you'll kind of do a little scan of the surroundings, and one of the benefits of doing that is it will point you in the direction of the closest escape point. So that's really nice if you're not really familiar with an area. So you can head out pretty quickly, and I'll be adding on more functions to that as it progresses. This is still pretty temporary placeholder. The one nice thing is that it still does the summary of all the resources that you found. So I'm going to go and grab a new weapon. Let's go with the burst shot. So the menus were already working properly, at least in terms of their overall structure, but there were a lot of bugs that were associated with them, so they're now pretty robust. I haven't been able to break them in a while, whereas previously, if you went into, say, the map and then you went back into the map after exiting it, it would lock up your interaction. It wouldn't lock the game or anything. There was workarounds, but it's definitely a lot more usable. And I wasn't paying attention, I don't think. Yeah, I wanted to go to the shoreline. So another thing that was added was the procedural encounter system, which is going great, and it works really well in the test map that I've been working in, and I've built quite a few encounters for it. But as I've been working with it, it's really highlighted some problems that I've had with the shoreline map. Even though I've added in quite a bit of content, it hasn't quite filled out the shoreline. There's just frankly too much open space here, and that was something that I really wanted to play around with to see if that was true, or if I could add in enough content so that it would be, nice to have a lot more of an open play space. And frankly, it's just boring, as you can kind of see. So that was actually one of the reasons why it was really nice to add in these waypoints, so that you could frankly leave the shoreline. So, oh dear, it's highlighting one of the ones that's I forgot to remove. I'm gonna have to change that. So what I'm going to do, and kind of how I'm going to proceed with that, is I'm going to continue adding new content to the encounter system. And if you didn't watch that video, that's pretty much, it's a system of being able to handcraft individual encounters so that they're really nice and balanced, and I know that they work really well. And then the system will basically stamp those through the map so that you get a different arrangement and result from them. So that's working really well, and it's exciting. But clearly I'm going to have to rework the actual layout of the map itself, so that it's a little closer to the wilderness map. Has a lot more kind of like guided pathing, and a lot more kind of fictional landmarks to support the play space before I think it's going to be really start being fun. So that's pretty much it that I wanted to show you. And like I said, I think I'm going to start doing these kind of videos to coincide with the builds, so that the developer diary videos can dig in a little bit deeper into some of the either technical know-how or the kind of individual kind of nuances, so that people that are interested in the actual construction of the game can engage with that stuff, and the people that just kind of want to experience the game can more watch out for this kind of content. So If you have any thoughts or comments on that, definitely leave them down below. If you have time, I would really appreciate you checking out the build. I really enjoy it when I get feedback on that, because frankly, just working on it on my own, I'm only getting one voice uh, on the stuff that I'm doing. So getting more input is always very, very helpful. So thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate you spending the time, and I hope to see you again here next week when I release the next developer diary video. So thanks again, and hope to see you again here soon. Bye.